Pakistan is being accused of recalibrating its proxy war in Jammu and Kashmir, shifting terror blame onto local Kashmiris to mask its continued sponsorship of terrorism. Analysts say the change follows India's counter-terror crackdown under Operation Sindoor, which disrupted traditional infiltration routes and forced Pakistan-backed networks to rely on sleeper cells, digital radicalization, and narco-terror financing to preserve global deniability.
For decades, Pakistan has sought to project terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir as an indigenous phenomenon. However, evolving patterns of recruitment, financing and command structures indicate a calculated strategy, using local proxies to execute terrorist activity while operational control remains across the border. Junaid Qureshi, director of the European Foundation for South Asian Studies, says Islamabad has consistently attempted to destabilize Kashmir by shifting responsibility for terrorism onto local Kashmiris. Citing incidents such as the Red Fort blast in Delhi, he says the objective is to conceal Pakistan's role as a state sponsor of terrorism while portraying attacks as homegrown. Qureshi warns that this proxy framework is being refined to withstand international scrutiny, relying on fragmented groups, narco-financing and exploitation of vulnerable populations to sustain terrorism while maintaining plausible deniability at international forums.
There is a narrative being created because Pakistan has been exposed many times on the international platform within the region that Pakistan is a sponsor of terrorism. And now what they are trying to do is they are trying to, with the help of their proxies, Pakistani proxies, they are trying to involve local Kashmiris into this, into terrorism, so that they have this plausible deniability that it is the Kashmiris who are doing this, it's not us. But we all know where the money comes from, where the training comes from. Of course, it is now much more digitalized. But at the same sense, you know, what also must be looked into is the drug issue in Kashmir. Look, I've always said drug, apart from being a menace in society, but drug in this particular region, in a conflict zone, has also another usage.
With armed infiltration increasingly constrained, terror networks are now relying on decentralized cells operating quietly within civilian spaces. Radicalization, funding and operational instructions are increasingly digital, while narcotics trafficking has emerged as a parallel currency to sustain militant activity. This convergence of crime and terrorism has altered the threat landscape, making violence harder to detect and easier to disown.
There are countries where weapons are used, there are countries where oil is used as a currency. Drug in this particular region is used, it's you know, you can call it narco-terrorism. Drug is used as a currency in pursuing terrorism in this region. And if you see, it is only happening in two states in India. One is Punjab, one is Kashmir. Both with a history of terrorism, both with a history of support from the Pakistani intelligence agencies, their famous project K2, you know, Khalistan and Kashmir. So drug, they are finding new ways. Cryptocurrency is a new way. So they are finding new ways to disturb the peace.
Another key component of the strategy is organizational reinvention. Banned terror outfits routinely resurface under the new identities, retaining the same ideological foundations and logistical networks to continue operations while evading sanctions and international scrutiny. The resistance front is widely seen as part of this pattern and has been linked to Lashkar-e-Taiba. Junaid Qureshi says he has received direct death threats from the group but maintains that such intimidation will not deter him. He warns that rebranded outfits now increasingly rely on digitally trained sleeper cells, posing a more complex challenge than traditional cross-border infiltration.
I think all these organizations have been banned for a long, long time, but they keep on reinventing themselves. You know, I remember very, very long ago, Lashkar was banned, then it was the Jamaat-ud-Dawa. Jaish is banned, then it finds its offshoot. Today, you know, just the threat we were talking about, which I've received, is from TRF. Well, TRF is a very, very new organization. I think this was established somewhere around 2019, the Resistance Front. Yes, it's an offshoot of Lashkar-e-Toiba, which, you know, has been confirmed. The US State Department has put them on a sanction list. India has put them on a sanction list. So the relationship between them and Lashkar has been established. But then they reinvent themselves.
Analysts say Operation Sindoor forced Pakistan-backed networks to abandon overt escalation in favor of covert, urban-centric tactics. While the methods have shifted, the objective remains unchanged: destabilize Jammu and Kashmir while projecting terrorism as locally driven. As Pakistan adapts its proxy architecture, observers stress that exposing the ecosystem behind these narratives is now as critical as countering the violence itself.